Something came from Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore.
Welcome to Something Came From Baltimore. Something Came From Baltimore is a jazz, blues, and R&B podcast and show, and it's not normally about Baltimore. 2021 was a banner year for Chez Smith as he was juggling two major projects. One was the release and the promotion of the amazing album with We All Break. It was the praise Haitian voodoo jazz fusion recording Path of Seven Colors. The album was top 10 on everyone's best of list of 2021, including my own. I was trying to get a hold of him for Something Came From Baltimore during that time period and it just didn't work out, but it doesn't matter. He has another project from 2021, and it's the recording and live performance of what is now called Interpret It Well. Chez Smith's core group is normally Matt Maneri on viola, Greg Taborn on piano, and of course, Chez Smith is on the drums. This recording includes the legendary Bill Frisell on guitar, and as you can hear, the addition of Bill Frisell only enhances the overall sound. In the show notes, we have some cool goodies for you to look at. There's a great concert available where you can listen to the Path of Many Colors live. There is a really interesting video of Interpret It Well. The video was released with stock footage of home preparations for disasters. And finally, another concert link of Chez and the gang, plus Bill Frisell, grooving on what will become the album Interpret It Well. In this interview, I will chat with Chez Smith about the new release, Interpret It Well, which will have a release date of May 6, 2022 on the Pyroclastic record label. We'll reach back into 2021's release, Path of Seven Colors. We'll talk about his possible arch nemesis, fellow drummer Tomas Fujiwara, and again, my continued obsession with Mary Halverson. It's jam-packed, so let's get into the interview with Chez Smith. So, Chez Smith, welcome to Something Came From Baltimore.
Thank you.
So, I was just saying, just briefly, I am passionately in love with the Path of Seven Colors, the album that came out last year. It was ranked number 7. I disagree with that. I definitely would have put that in my top 5 or top 3.
Wow.
Yeah, it really worked for me, and I hope that you're going to go in that direction, multiple times. It's more of an education to your fans.
Yeah, education to me too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been studying Haitian voodoo drumming for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go to Haiti, or were you able to connect with people in Brooklyn?
Yeah, well, both. I'd say the band is more about my connections in New York and the US, from the diaspora, people that live here now from Haiti, and the voodoo scene in New York. It's kind of a love letter to that in a way, and just represents that community that I'd like to think I'm a part of, or at least right on the edge of, and have friends in it, But I went to Haiti first in 2013, and then a couple times after that, to attend various ceremonies and just check it out and meet people and things like that. Yeah.
Now, when you say the word voodoo, it can be ceremonial. It can be kind of dance music. Like it could represent like spirits or thoughts or energies.
Yeah. Voodoo represents the spirits, really, but it's kind of a blanket term for a ceremony and all the rhythm, drum rhythm, songs, and dance within it. That's for sacred purposes, and then when it's for the stage, like when they take it, or sort of like what We All Break, does, or dance performances, things like that. They call that folklore. It's a distinction, but there's a lot of overlap.
You were talking about connection. So Toma Fujiwara, he
Mhm.
is also a drummer in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Triple W. I interviewed him for Thumbscrew last album. Is he your arch nemesis?
Why do you say that? He's a friend.
Oh,
of
you guys are working in the same circles, and you're
Mhm.
kind of working with the same people. So
Yeah.
do you ever go like, damn it, you just took my gig, blah, 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 blah.
No. I like to see him play a lot, and yeah, we both, in particular, I've played with Mary Halverson a lot over the years, and he's played with her a lot as well, and he's been doing that for the last bunch of years, but we're all friends. Mary, they're like the godparents of my kid, and we see them, and I still get to play with Mary in other contexts, and occasionally Toma too, actually. But yeah, that's funny though.
It's weird. Like Brooklyn was a big town, and sometimes, like after the pandemic, it shrunk. And now I don't know if it's going back out again or it's going to stay shrunk.
As far as musicians you associate with it, or
well, just artists in general who just can't
Yeah.
pay the bills, got
yeah,
expensive.
some people split, but there's plenty of people around here. But yeah, a lot of people I happen to know did move, or at least a handful or a couple of handfuls.
I didn't write it, but Mary Halverson, I had this whole conversation with Thumbscrew where I put her in this weird pedestal, like in the John Zorn or the Philip Glass, that if I ever interviewed, I would be so scared because
Wow.
I just have that weird, I don't know, sycophant like fandom about her. And I was like, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying with him. I said, don't you have it too? Don't you just like stare at her and just try to figure out like how does she work or breathe or whatever?
It's funny. It sounds funny because Mary's like as real as a person can get,
Yeah. Interpret It Well has that comment about carbon offsetting to neutralize the carbon emissions associated with the product and distribution of the album has been purchased through carbonfund.org. What does that mean?
You can buy what, I don't even know what the process is. Honestly, I can't take credit for that because that's the label's doing. They luckily did that, which I support fully. But the label is paying into ways to offset the, whatever. Like it takes trucks to ship the stuff. It takes planes to ship the stuff too from where they're printed in Czech Republic. So
how's that measured?
I don't know how it's measured. Airlines do the same thing, and you can buy that with your flight. It's not much money. It's like some small percentage of the ticket price.
Oh wow! I said, well, I'm late. I'm in the mid 50s. By the time this all goes down, don't look up. It's coming pretty soon. I think I can make my full life, and I feel sorry for your child that you're taking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's dark. It's
Yeah.
I just try to get him ready for the end of the world as best I can.
I hope you're enjoying the interview with Ches Smith. Remember that Something Came From Baltimore needs your support to survive. Comment, like, forward, subscribe, and share with others. And these are all action words that we need your help to continue to share excellent artists and music. One thing that Something Came From Baltimore is about, and that is variety of sounds. Jazz music is everything. So Something Came From Baltimore is showcasing amazing talents from all subsets of the music genre. Now, let's get back to the interview with Ches Smith. This album is Interpret It Well. The release date is May 6, 2022. And it's the Pyroclastic Records. You have your core group, and you got guitar, like kind of the first time. Now, you guys started to correspond in 2018. You made the connection around 2020 to kind of do the record. What took you so long to meet him? I just feel that you guys are kind of running in the same circles, and
yeah,
I bet you.
I actually did know him. He was an acquaintance. He used to, when he lived in Seattle, he used to share with Nels Klein, do a timeshare on this unit in the bottom of this building I was in, and in Brooklyn. And I met him before then when I play out there. Sometimes he'd show up to a show, and we had Avon Kang, this great violinist, violist, and kind of musical thinker, I guess. Avon played in Bill's band, and I played in a lot of bands with Avon, or quite a few, and we're friends from way back. And Yeah, so I sort of knew Bill. Like one time I played with Avon and Bill came out to that, and then some other things. And yeah, when he started coming out to New York and staying in that place, we'd see each other around. That was way back in like 2008, 9, and then I just see him on tour very occasionally, and then he kind of reconnected with John Zorn, and I was starting to work with Zorn, so we'd see each other on those like events and things like that. But then it wasn't until he saw that show in 2008, late 2018, that I even got the idea that maybe we'd play. He just seemed to, he was curious about the music.
I bet you Tomas Fujiwara knew him well too. Your arch nemesis.
Actually, no, I think they've played together. Yeah.
There's awesome video. I'm gonna just tell the audience there's right now on YouTube. I'm gonna put a link on it. It's from the Roulette Intermedium. It has a fantastic chemistry. You're playing some of the tunes from this album.
Yeah.
So they're expanded. They're really great. Now, there's one thing that I saw that I feel that as a music fan, I've never saw before. And that you just started right out at the beginning where you took your bow and you swipe the vibraphone, is like some of the notes or the pedals of it. Yeah. This must be very common, but I have never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty common, and I'm guessing somewhere in the 20th century it began. And I've played several like quote unquote new music pieces that have that technique in it. Mostly from my time around Mills College, whether I was there or just working with William Wynant, the percussion teacher there, and really great percussionist in like contemporary classical music. And other things too, free jazz even.
Are you having a pandemic backlog?
Once you even finish a record, it takes at least 6 months to get it out. And that's what's happening with Interpret It Well. Like that was done, we recorded it. It was mixed in December 2020.
Yeah.
But then the We All Break one was didn't come out till June 2021. There's some things like the printing place, like people kept getting COVID and there'd be big delays on that. And then the We All Break liner note, like all that writing took me forever. And I was really, sort of anxious about it, to be honest. And, worked on it a lot to make sure it was what I wanted to say. And all the info was as correct as far as I could tell, So anyway, it was like all that prep to get a record released it's been it just takes a long time. So I'm trying to get ahead so it's not too long before this one I'm working on now is finished.
So that could be next year.
Yeah. It wouldn't come out till next year for sure. And maybe even late next year.
So the album cover is very intriguing. It's a Raymond Pettibone. It's called No Title, Interpret It Well, 1987. And you spent a lot of time in your bio explaining what does it mean, like what is it, what's your interpretation. And so you never nailed down exactly what your interpretation. I'll tell you what my interpretation is.
Okay, let's hear yours first.
Oh, you want mine first? Okay. So it looks like it's a railroad track, the house on the left hand side. The clouds are menacing, and stared at it, I can almost see a face. To me, it's like danger ahead.
How do you take the actual words, interpret it well?
We're going into danger and I'm interpreting it well. Because of my bias, I think I'm right. So that's my interpretation is accurate because that in my head, that's what I think it is.
Oh, like you interpreted it correctly, like that?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like I can't now change my interpretation. Even if you tell me what you think your interpretation is, I still know what my interpretation is because I interpreted it well.
Right. Yeah, that's I like that. Yeah, I took it a little differently. Like it seems not sarcastic. What's the word I'm looking for? Not ironic either. Yeah, I just see it as definitely like a tornado or something like that, and you're headed towards it and interpret it well. Like interpret it as something good. Like it's sort of a to me, that's how it strikes me. I have no idea what Pettibone meant. Yeah, I just take it like, oh, that's great. Like more good news, like that kind of thing,
So we're getting into the songs. The tough time when we do these interviews, that these songs are 14 minutes long. I'm going to play like 30 seconds. It's not enough time for the audience to get a feel for it. But the Interpret It Well did come out in January 14, 2022. Has an amazing video attached to it already called Protect Your Home, which is like snippets of videos of home protection.
Yeah.
So you could say interpreted well is that prepare for the worst. I mean, you could go into that level, like bomb shelters, whatever.
Yeah.
So in this song, I'm like, it's what I wanted to play is that, or the 5-minute mark, where it gets very experimental in a psychedelic kind of way. And it's hard for you guys to talk about this song as a whole or parts of it. I know, but I got to play a segment. So
yeah. Okay, that in the 5-minute mark, I'm not sure I know where that is. That where it gets really expansive sounding?
Yeah.
Is there a gong in it?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. And that's actually one of my favorite moments in that, you know. Yeah, but also what everyone's doing there is really expansive sounding, and I just like for me that's a rewarding part of that track. Listening to that moment you're talking about exactly, actually.
How cool is that? That's what I picked out as I want to play. Our next song is Clear Major, which is already out. It's a 15-minute opus. It came out on March 25th, so it's available for people to listen to right now. Through this whole song is doing that guitar touching, the what Edge does with U2, where it's tonality on the guitar strings. There's a name for it. Before we were doing the interview, I was like, I had to go on the computer to see if I can get the name for it. I don't know what it is.
Is he tapping with his fingers?
Yes. There's a name for just tap. That's what I wrote. Tapping on strings.
Yeah. It's not hammer-ons though, like Eddie Van Halen or something.
Well, it's more of a you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's what I got off the computer is that there's delays and effects that he's doing to create that tonality of the tapping of the strings, doing it all through the whole song.
Yeah, he did a lot of looping on the end, the last part of that track as well.
Metaphor, you have a really cool interplay with the piano, and when I started listening to avant-garde stuff when I was in high school, or maybe younger, I don't know, that is very Cajun to me. That's a very good interplay, and it sounds very familiar, but it's not, because it's from my past, if that makes sense. Like I've heard something like this before and I really dig it.
Okay, and you're referring to is it piano and vibraphone at that point?
Or, it's right around this 640 mark.
Yeah. We sort of luckily just kind of traded off duos, because it was designed to be a Frisell and Maneri duo, viola and guitar before that, and then I think we were just trying to go. Craig and I have some written backgrounds under that to sort of prod them along at different points or get in their way or do something like that. And then we ended up, Craig and I just sort of took it naturally from there, and that's when it got to the moment you're speaking of.
I love it. It feels comforting.
Oh, nice.
A lot of times you're supposed to be jarred and thinking and interpreting it well, whatever. But in this case, this made me feel very comfortable as opposed to being the opposite.
Some good old American experimentalism.
Yeah, 101. 101 there.
That's home like that.
the last song we're just gonna play a segment of is Morbid, which is moody and atmospheric, totally available for a soundtrack. I don't know. You
nice.
should farm that out and see if you can get some money off of that.
yeah. I don't know how to do that, but there's whole businesses that do that kind of stuff. But yeah, that piece that's a really simple piece. It's only it's maybe 10 bars at the most, including the outro section. And yeah, it's just, we used to play the trio with, just Craig, Matt, and I used to play that on tour, and it just kept getting slower and slower. And it's, it's pretty slow when you see what's written down, what we're playing from on the page.
It's basically a soundscape almost.
Yeah. It kind of got almost completely static,
Well, Ches Smith, thank you for joining me today on Something Came From Baltimore. The album is called Interpret It Well. It'll be available to the world on May 6, 2022. And if you order it on Bandcamp, it looks like you're getting 2 extra tracks on it.
Yeah, nice.
With paying back the carbon imprint on it. So
yeah, on the physical product for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. Again, I'm so happy to talk to you. I was such a super fan from the last album. And then I went backwards with your stuff. I'm not obsessed with you like Mary Haverson yet, but I can get there.
Well, that's up to you. Thanks for talking. That was fun.
I hope you enjoyed the interview today with Ches Smith. The album is called Interpret It Well, with a release date of May 6, 2022. Don't forget to check out the show notes for interesting YouTube videos from the artists that support this recording. It's Something Came From Baltimore. The show is over.